Essential updates needed for the Assault class. Okay, so I seen this post. I've been playing a lot of Assault recently, at least the past couple days, and it's interesting. They have a lot of suggestion here for updates, obviously, but I feel like this kind of feels like a rework in a lot of ways. But yeah, let's get into it. Jump Pack Enhancement. Add +1 charge to Jump Pack charge as a signature perk. Introduce an additional charge to the Jump Pack, increasing its usability and tactical flexibility during missions. Okay, so I assume this is not talking about PvP, because if anything, the Assault class would need a Jump Pack nerf in PvP. As the way it is right now, you can just, essentially spam Jump Pack up and down for 3 times and take out who you want, basically. It really depends on where the sniper is. I can understand the frustrations with dealing with that sort of strategy in PvP, at least especially in like close battles where you're, in melee range. That can feel frustrating to deal with. And honestly, as someone who plays Assault on PvP also, I feel like you only really need 1 or 2 jump packs to really, get the job done. I feel like 3 is a lot. So, I don't know. +1 charge to jump pack would be, honestly, even in PvE, I'm not too sure 1 jump pack charge. I mean, I'll take it. I'll be honest. I'd take that. I like the idea of adding a perk to introduce a jump pack charge. I like that. Sheesh. I'm already, it's a 1 point down. Oh my god. Enhance the jump pack to achieve greater heights, allowing you to soar like an angel of death and dominate your enemies. If they were able to do that, I'd be down. Squad cohesion boost. Enhance the squad cohesion boost from 10% to 15%. Wait, are they talking about promoting better team dynamics and effectiveness in combat scenarios? Are they talking about? Oh, are they talking about abilities? Because it takes the abilities is a 10% boost, right? I'm not too sure. Yeah, squad cohesion. I'm not too sure what they're talking about here. Maneuverability improvement. Raise the maneuverability bonus from 20 to 25% and put it in a signature perk, allowing for quicker and more agile movements in challenging environments. I don't know. The only reason I really push back on this is because this is what kind of sounds like a rework to me. But that said, honestly, if you have a perk that adds a extra, jump pack charge, whatever, the dodge move for it, the quick jump pack, like dodge forward, is pretty good. I think that kind of can get the maneuverability bonus right there, just having an extra trigger of that, basically. Also put Zealous Blow into signature perk. Okay. Jump pack dodge mechanic revision. Overhaul the jump pack dodge mechanic to provide more responsive and intuitive evasion capabilities, potentially integrating a directional control feature. Yeah, this is the rework stuff that I'm like, dude, what? Like, I get it. You want to be able to like jump up in the air and like dodge attacks and stuff. But honestly, I just feel like having a quick idea of what you want to do with your jump pack, like once you jump up in the air and then, slam, like you really want to, make your decisions quickly. So, I don't know. I just feel like there's ways to play around some of the limited features, basically, they're pointing at here. Survivability, survival perk introduction. Option 1, Adrenaline Rush. Similar to Vanguard, implement a perk that temporarily boosts speed and reduces damage taken when health falls below a certain threshold. I like this idea. This is a good idea. Option 2, Contested Health perk. Introduce a perk that gradually restores health when engaging in close quarters combat, enhancing survivability during prolonged fights. Okay. So, as much as I would like to see that, I do think the Assault perk where you get you get armor back on non-finisher gun strikes, I think that perk's a lot better than people think. But, like, I could say I would probably switch that with the Contested Health perk if that was the case. But the Assault already has a gun strike team perk that I think kind of gels well with the armor perk as well. So it's like, I kind of want to push back on this, but at the same time, it's like, it's probably something that Assault needs. Again, I've been playing Assault quite a bit on Ruthless recently, so it's like, I understand some of these points, but at the same time, it's like, dude, you really don't need a contested health perk if you just keep taking out enemies as quick as possible. You get the armor back on executions, so like, that, you know, and you get that, that's not even a perk, that's just game mechanics. So if you take things out quickly, like this perk is suggesting, it's like you still have another survivability, like, mechanic to stack on top of it, and I don't know. I get it. I think these are good suggestions, but like one or two of these things I think are a good idea. Like honestly, the I would take the team ability cooldown perk that Assault has. I would buff that from 10% to 15%. Like why not? The perk that like adds a jetpack. The perk that adds a I believe we called it 3 different things this video so far. The perk that adds the jetpack boost, or you know, like one more trigger of the jetpack, yeah, that's a good idea as well. Okay, let me move on to some of the other details they list here. This is already a lot. These changes aim to enhance the Assault class's role as a dynamic and resilient frontline warrior, improving both individual and team performance in diverse operational contexts. Additionally, they provide the Assault class with a more sensible and effective role when facing heretics, who possess teleportation abilities and do not swarm or stack like Tyranid enemies. And yeah, they have a point here. Because a bulk of their suggestions is basically a lot about movement. And yeah, they're saying right here that they're kind of annoyed by the teleportation abilities of Chaos, and I kind of agree. I like honestly, the past couple days I've been playing a lot of Chaos missions, and yeah, the teleportation is probably the most annoying thing they can do. A lot of the ranged attacks can be annoying. You know, the amount they melee is not that much, so gun strikes don't happen from parries as much, and you know, there's builds that are made around that. All that is, you know, that can be annoying, but like honestly, just take out Chaos, and then you're good. But the teleportation is the one thing preventing that from happening. It's like you can get a Chaos down to like lethal, and they'll teleport away and just be in executionable status, and it's like, dude, that 1 or 2 seconds that you just teleported away there is going to kill my contested health. Which is pretty funny. It's pretty funny, but like, yeah, honestly, it can be annoying. Why are these changes is essential for the Assault class? I wouldn't go that far. Dude, honestly, I really like the Assault class right now. I've been playing quite a bit of it, and I think I have a good idea on how the Assault class can better approach Chaos, but I'm going to save that for the video. The Assault class suffers from a variety of weaknesses that limit its overhaul effectiveness. These include a lack of primary ranged weapons options and limited survivability against ranged Magearus enemies, though the Assault class excels at dismantling melee Magearus with ease. Yes. Yeah, limited survivability against ranged Magearus enemies. Yeah. They're pretty much on point with that. However, armor reinforcement relies on gun strike to function. I'm going to push back on that a little bit, which ranged Magearus enemies do not always provide opportunities for, further hindering survivability. Now, I'd mentioned this before, but what if you just, you know, execute the major ranged enemy? You get your armor back, and you'll probably get contested health back. You don't really need the gun strike, but you know, they do have a good point here, but honestly, I think there's ways to play around it. Is my point. Assault requires probably the most skill of all the classes. Next to Sniper, maybe even Vanguard, but yeah. I'm not calling the other classes unskillful, but as Assault, you are not allowed to make as many mistakes as the others. With Assault on lethal, you will very likely die not soon after if you make a mistake. I mean, that's for every class, though. Well, I would say Assault gets punished the most out of making mistakes for sure, but yeah, every class is gonna get punished in some sort of way. That said, it's like the one thing about this game is sometimes just having a good idea of what you want to pull off in a fight can go a long way, and some of that stuff doesn't really need to be skillful. You kind of just need to be able to anticipate. I know in itself that's a skill, but I think when you think of skill for Assault's case, it's more about performance rather than strategy. Because Assault, like honestly, I would even say that's like accurate, because with Assault you just really want to take things out as quick as possible. So like you do have a strategy, but you need to be able to pull that off, like performance wise, you know what I mean? Assault has awesome sustain for armor, but nothing for your actual health. Yeah. Yeah. They are the only melee class with no way to regain their health. Is that true? They're the only melee class with no way to regain your health, especially with the slow hammer animations. Nah, I mean, they have a point with, you know, with contested health, with the slow hammer attacks. They are on the money with that. That's kind of surprising. Yeah, Vanguard, Bulwark. Wait, what about Tactical? Tactical doesn't really. Tactical is kind of a melee class. I don't know. That's still an interesting point. Your heavy bolt pistol is really the only option for regaining contested health after a big hit is taken. Yeah, that and slams, but yeah, for the most part, to gain contested health back on the jetpack slams, you need the Bulwark's contested health perk or the tacticals, preferably both, to be honest. But yeah, it takes, you know, it definitely takes a lot of destruction to maintain assault. Mobility is another significant drawback. For example, the Vanguard can use its hook to leap over invisible walls, offering superior transversal options, while the assault class is restricted to specific location where its jump pack can function. Well, yeah, because, yeah, you basically can't, like, jump over... pretty much you can't jump over any obstacles with assault. That said, I mean, seriously, the jetpack and the Vanguard grapple, I think, are very comparable skills. It is interesting, though. It's like the Vanguard is kind of better at just moving around. I don't know. Honestly, that does sound like a Vanguard, like, class-specific element. It's not really something I desperately need on assault, to be honest. But I mean, I understand the gripe with it. They kind of have a point here. Again, though, I just think you can play around it. Additionally, the assault class's jump pack cooldown is too high, and with only 2 charges, it isn't effective for consistently engaging ranged majors enemies. Well, inner fire for one, but obviously Vanguard perk, you know, that's nothing that should really be a point here, but there is ways you can get that cooldown to be a little bit faster. Not to mention the assault class itself already has the cooldown ability, which is nice for your team. Yeah, that said, though, it's like the Gunstrike one's pretty good, but I feel like you could... Those are two different builds right there. But I don't know. They kind of have a point about how many charges you have, and it's kind of weird that in PvP they have 3 charges, or however that really works. But yeah, in PvP it feels much more oppressive with how many charges they have compared to PvE. Does this? I would really want to challenge this person to see if they use the blocking Thunderhammer. This limitation often hampers the assault class's ability to perform. Furthermore, Zealous Blow requires minus enemies nearby to trigger its effect, while Precision Strike diminishes the area of effect size of ground-based attacks by 50%, making the Zealous Blow perk less impactful. The one thing, yeah, the Assault's perk setup is definitely a little bit janky. You know, so any sort of perk rework they do with not Bulwark, they do with Assault. Any sort of perk rework they do with Assault is going to be just good, because the Assault's perk, you know, the Assault's perk situation is pretty janky. These limitations significantly impair the Assault's class performance, especially when facing heretics, who possess teleportation abilities and do not swarm or stack like Tyranid enemies, yes, presenting a substantial challenge. I mean, here's the thing. You can stop them from teleporting. Let's say, what I've been doing is I've been using the heavy bolt pistol. I like shoot a couple headshots in there and then jump in with the you know, the slam, the jetpack slam, and that does a good job at just, you know, getting them at executionable status, like consistently in a way to just, you know, like if you see a chaos enemy, you can just, you know how to just break down their health and get the executionable status. Dude, holy cow, that was a lot to read. Holy cow. And I still want to see people's reactions to this. Let me know in the comments how you guys felt about this post. My mouth is very dry. I've been doing a lot of talking here, so and I don't want to drink water too much in the video, so But yeah, that was a lot. I think there were some good points here, but I feel like some of the good points they made can be outplayed. Like you essentially can play around the drawbacks of certain things they mention. Their points about the perks is definitely fine. Like that's obviously something that's going to be changed and essentially reworked. But overall, I'm not too sure the assault class is in a desperate state to, need a full-blown like movement rework. That's pretty much my point. And yeah, in the next couple days, I will be dropping some assault class videos and stuff. I've been playing the class quite a bit. I've just hit level 22, something like that, and I really enjoy the class. I really enjoy the class, and essentially any perk reworks are going to be a huge buff for it, which is going to be nice. But I still think they have a good amount of perks to essentially, get a good use out of. So yeah, let's see people's reaction to this, and let me know in the comments how you feel about the assault class and if you think it needs a rework. Obviously, some perks are going to be reworked, but like a full movement rework is kind of a stretch. I'm not too sure how they're going to pull that off, but yeah, either way, let me know in the comments how you guys feel about this, and yeah, let's go to some reactions on this. You know what feels awful? Trying to use your jump pack from ledge only to jump, rise, and flop on the same ledge. Like, what the F? Okay. Yeah, that's probably the most frustrating part about playing this class at the moment. Basically, jumping up and not going really high, but they did buff it to the point where you can, you can kind of like zip around with the landing spot. So, yeah, at the same time, you're not jumping high, but you can jump far. That's pretty much how it works now. Replace dodge with jump pack dodge, which no longer uses jump pack charge. This was a stupid idea. Yeah, that would be a little OP, but I do like the idea, kind of. It's definitely a little bit OP, but I mean, as someone who plays the class, I would like it, but I can imagine that would be OP in PvP. Make Power Fist not entirely crap. Yep, that makes sense. Other glaring weaknesses are faults of the game itself. Enemies walking away from you shooting, teleporting after you jump on them twice in a row. Limited restrain and dodge not canceling. Dodge cancels interesting. But yeah, for the most part, the teleportation can be played around, but it's also a pain, so I understand that. But obviously, like, Chaos kind of needs to be tough to fight because it's Chaos. It's kind of crazy that, like, 3 Space Marines can just, like, completely overwhelm, like, Chaos swarms and stuff. But honestly, I like it, and hey, I do have, I really do enjoy the way the game balances everything out. So, for the most part, like, the tough fights aren't that annoying, but they do have a point about dodge canceling. The feeling when you realize that Vanguard is just everything Assault wishes it was and more? I don't know about that. I think the jump pack is better than grapple. Not so much the perks you get from the grapple, but as far as the skills themselves, I think jump pack is stronger than grapple, just because jump pack, you can essentially get good damage and also stagger swarms, where the grapple is really like just good at staggering swarms. They're both good at movement, so I don't know. I wouldn't go that far, but fair enough. Yeah, Assault needs something. Honestly, it just feels like I think Assault's is in a good spot right now. I gotta be honest, but yeah, there's probably 1 or 2 perks that, could help sustain Assault, for sure. The only class I have maxed out is Assault. Completed lethal missions with it. Playing the class is not that complicated. Use the fencing options for your melees, and it's really not that hard. I would say, dude, yeah, this is 5 hours ago. So I would definitely say blocking is probably in a better spot for Chaos, but I'm not going to go too into depth. I'm not going to talk about this too much. I'm going to save a video for that. But yeah, I've been fighting Chaos as Assault, and I'm actually getting to the point now where I think I can take down lethal. But yeah, fencing is also good. It's just fencing is weird against Chaos because you have to rely on melee attacks. So there's that. Don't use your booster pack vertically around massive hordes of ranged enemies. Ensure you have the class perk that allows you to regain armor on non-killing gun strikes. Yeah. Yep, both of those are good ideas. Well, at the very least, if you are going to use your, your jetpack against swarms or against swarm of ranged enemies, do your movements decisively. Jump up in the air and slam as quick as possible, basically. Yeah, and then yes, I agree with the armor non-killing gun strike perk is very, very strong. I would love a buff, but it's really not necessary for the class. Yeah. It's, like, honestly, I just think as long as their perk reworks are accurate to what they're trying to, they're trying to do with the new difficulty, then I think Assault will be in a good spot. It's definitely weird talking about balance now, knowing there's going to be a balance shift in a couple months, basically. But we will see how that turns out. But for now, I do think Assault's is in a good spot. But people are kind of sleeping on blocking still. It's kind of crazy. But yeah, they do bring up fencing and gun strikes, so that's, for Tyranids, I understand completely. That's a good way to stay sustained. To stay healed and with healthy armor and stuff. That makes sense. Regardless, yeah, let me know in the comments how you feel about the Assault class. I know this is like an Assault class video. There's some talking about Vanguard here as well. We've been talking about Vanguard quite a bit today, so. But yeah, I'm excited to go play some bonking hammer gameplay. I've been really enjoying both those classes, to be honest.